Okie dokie, boys and girls. So back in Tokyo, you might recognize this place from a few days before. I'm not with all the boys right here, but still the guy behind the camera, Dwayne, is here with me. So we're training. I'm gonna do a planche training, but it's gonna be a smaller one, of course, than when I was training with everyone. So I did grease the groove a couple days ago. Now I'm kind of recovered, although I also have a cold. So I'm just gonna see if I can do a bit of a heavier training, do some planche push-ups to bring my power back out. And basically, the greasing the groove is very nice, but I don't think it's for everyone because it's a very low intensity training and it's very boring. So yes, if you do it like all the time, you're gonna get very strong, but at the same time, it's very difficult to continue it because it's so boring. And that's why I like to mix in some normal trainings as well, where you can just go out, use all your power and have some fun. So that's what I'm gonna do. 6 sets are on the planning today for planche, 5 sets of push-up combinations, and then 1 more set of holds. And after that, maybe I'll do some basics, but I'm gonna see how I feel because, like I said, my throat is a little bit sore, and yeah, that's just something for then. One set at a time, and we'll see how it goes. So set number 1, let's go. All right, so definitely weaker than before coming to Japan, but not too bad in any case, right? Like even with a fucking jet lag and a cold, whatever, still doing good. And it's not about beating your last performance every time. I don't know if you can still hear me with the train. All right, so of course you want to try and beat your performance every time, but sometimes that's just not gonna happen. And all you can do in those situations is to just do your best. So I'm gonna do 5 sets of push-ups, well, 4 more, and then go from there. Okay, so I'm starting to add some small tiny holds at the end of my set because I'm basically too weak. Usually I would just do the holds in between of the push-ups, but I'm starting to not be able to do that anymore. But improvise, adapt, overcome, right? So if plan A doesn't work, in my case, past push-ups, you can still do something else. In this case, some push-ups with a hold at the end. So 2 more sets of the push-ups and then we move on to a hold only set. Okay, so there's only one thing I'm happy about right now, and that's the fact that these 5 sets are over. And sometimes, that's enough. You take what you can take. It's easy to train when you're feeling energized and strong. That's the fun part. But you get to those strong days by training, even though you don't feel like it, right? When you feel tired, when you don't want to do it, when you're just happy to get it over with. If you can still train then the strong days will come as well. So 1 more set of just holds. I'm gonna try and get to 20 seconds, drop sets. So from full planche to straddle to tuck, whatever, get to 20 seconds, but it's gonna be a bit of a tricky one because I do not have any stamina at the moment. I even have fucking trouble breathing, but let's see how it goes. Okay, 1 set, 20 seconds. Let's have a small prayer because holy fucking shit, this is gonna be hard. Okay. Whew, shit. Planche done. Felt like trash, but you know, we got it done, so nothing to complain about. Now all that's left is basically to recover. You know, I'm gonna do the grease the groove workouts in between again until I feel I'm fully recovered, and then try and beat today's performance, which, you know, hopefully should not be difficult because this was fucking trash. But anyway, I think I'm gonna do one more set of normal push-ups, because when I was training with the boys, I did a set of 50 push-ups and I felt completely fucking gassed. You know, just to have a bit of a mental edge, to have something good today. I'm gonna do some push-ups here. The least amount I want to get is 51, but if possible, let's get to 100. You know, I'm not gonna like get my hands off the ground and like shake my arms out. That's gonna be not allowed. But 100 push-ups would be very nice. So let's give that a go. Okay, so talking after the fact again here, but you know, 60 push-ups I think I got in the end, which it's not 100 of course, but you know, these kind of sets where you're doing endurance, like there is of course a physical part to it as well, but like who's to say I couldn't have done 61, right, or 62? So it's like a big mental part as well, because you know, the more reps you start doing in a set, you know, the less of a percentage it takes to get one more. Like the hurdle becomes lower and lower, and the only thing holding you back really from getting one more rep is your mind. And so next time I'm gonna try this again, you know, now I have the 60 reps hurdle to overcome, and then after that maybe the 70, right? And eventually we'll get to 100. But you know, like I was mentioning in the beginning, I got a fucking cold, I think on the airplane or something. Like I got a cold and I didn't sleep for a few nights. I think I'm starting to finally get better, but in the meantime, you know, these trainings are not so much about getting the best performance ever, right? Of course that's not gonna happen, but you know, in these days that it's fucking difficult, right, to train, whether you're with a lack of time, right? You have a lack of time because you have work, or maybe you're traveling like me, right? Or you're feeling sick, or both. You know, when everything goes to shit, you can still go out there and do something and keep your discipline. And I feel like, you know, doing that stuff, like keeping true to yourself and not putting any excuses in the way to prevent you from training, like knowing that, you know, no matter what situation you're in, you can do something, not only in training, but it will also carry over in life. That's gonna make you stronger. So today, physically, you know, I was weak, but mentally I feel strong now because I did what I had to do. And, you know, from here, of course, I'm gonna get used to the summer more. I'm gonna recover from my colds. You know, things are only gonna get better, you know. In a couple days, maybe 4 or 5 days, I'll be good to go, fresh and ready to go for another planche training. And I'll be, you know, back stronger than today. It's inevitable. And that's just how you keep the momentum going. You know, you keep training, sometimes you do less, sometimes you do more. But the diagonal trend over time is going upwards. That's what we're aiming for. So I'm gonna head back to the hotel and see you tomorrow, or maybe on another day. Like, I'm not uploading every day now, but I'll see you in the next video. So, bye.